Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite items from level 3 traders. You start to unlock level 3 traders at level 22 with Jaeger, and you work your way through the traders up until Ragman at level 32. So these are all the options in the very mid game of the wipe in Escape from Tarkov, and I'm going to be showing you what I absolutely love about these trader levels. So we'll start with Jaeger here at level 3. Now, in the past, Magnum Buck used to be a quite good ammo. However, now it is not as useful due to the horizontal recoil. So I've shifted, and I actually really like the 50 BMG slug. This thing goes through the aramid armors very easily and can one-tap to the thorax. Moving on from there, you could probably look into the SV98 OV. This is an excellent sniper rifle. Actually one of my favorite sniper rifles, and that is due to the high ergonomics. Once you get to Prapor level 3, you unlock the thread and silencer for this weapon, and that's really great. The other thing that I also always use is the Red Rebel Barter. This is going to cost you anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million rubles, and that saves you a lot of money, as this thing is anywhere from 6 to 8 mil on the flea market. So make sure to use that barter at level 3 Jaeger. And the last thing is this barter for the Sega with a fleer attached. It also has some pretty good attachments like the stock and the foregrip. So people use this barter a lot to get some nice gun attachments, and it doesn't cost all too much. Now we're going to be moving over to Peacekeeper level 3, which is unlocked at PMC level 23. He is going to give you access to a lot of great stuff. First thing to note is the M855. This is sort of your standard 5.56 round, goes through class 3 armor well, can kind of do damage on class 4, but it's not as reliable there. But it's a good round that you can absolutely use when you're in the mid game. Moving on from that, when you finish the revisions quest on Lighthouse, you unlock M80. This is an excellent round. You can use this throughout the wipe. In the very end game, when you only encounter level 5 armor, you're going to want to use some M62s, but I almost always use this round even at the bottom of my mags late into the wipe. This wipe, AP 6.3, has surprised me so much. The recoil changes has made it so that the MPX is very good, and I really like this ammo now. So this is a huge unlock at level 3. The P90 ammo I never really use, nor the 45 ACP here because it's flesh damage. The SIG round is actually really good. The problem is that the SIG is extremely expensive, and usually 100 durability is going to be about 450,000 rubles. And for me, I just don't think it's quite worth using that gun for that much money. Another nice thing is the 60 round mag for 5.56. That's a pretty good barter. The other great options are the Magpool RVG foregrip. This is a -2% recoil and +7 ergonomics. It's a little bit better than these tactical foregrips by 1 ergonomics point. And I use these pretty late into the wipe. Even if I have the money, I just find that they're good enough to make my weapons usable. And so I don't see the point in spending, an absurd amount on a foregrip unless I really just want to ball out. Moving on from there, probably one of the best scopes you can buy from Peacekeeper. The problem is that it's constantly sold out. The Spectre is fantastic. It gives you that 1 to 4 times zoom. But if it's sold out, you could always go with an ACOG or the hammer. You could throw the RMR and make these also alternate between zoom and non-zoom. So they're pretty decent scopes you can use. The night vision barter for a moonshine is not too bad. That's going to be 250 to 300,000 rubles for a moonshine. I never really use the dog tag barter, but it is an option. You also get these Magpool stocks. The problem is that these aren't really best in slot unless you also have the rubber butt pad, which is at level 4 traders. So I usually hold off on buying these until a little bit later, but the Gen 2 stock is excellent. The only problem is it sells out occasionally. So if this is sold out, just go ahead and buy the EMOD stock. From there, we can look at the handles. This Magpul MOE is pretty good. It's +10 ergonomics, not too expensive at $44. The other great option is the AR-15 Stark. This is 11 ergonomics for $65. These are level 5 plates, which is really great. I think having front and side armor is extremely important. So I try and always run rigs with side armor, and these are not that expensive at $75. So you get that nice class 5 protection for your side. On from there, the guns are not really worth it on Peacekeeper. This MDR, when you calculate it in rubles, is approximately 130,000, which is outrageous because on the flea market, they go for about 55. So don't buy your guns from Peacekeeper, get them off the flea market. And everything else on Peacekeeper is a little bit irrelevant in my opinion. From Peacekeeper, we can go to Therapist. There's not too much to say on Therapist level 3. The best thing is the Hermostat unlock. These are great for stopping 3 heavy bleeds in 1 slot. The other good items are the item case. These are fantastic for holding 4 mag cases and then the rest filled with ammo boxes. It fits very nicely in your stash. Other than that, there's not much for Therapist. So we'll move to Prapor. At level 26, you unlock Prapor level 3. He's got some good options such as the 7.62 PS round. That's a great ammo to use through the mid game. I would avoid the 5.45 PS because you can buy PP on the flea market. The PS round is great. It's got really good penetration, goes right through class 4 and starts to go through class 5 some of the time. So it's a great round to use if you're using the SVD for Punisher Part 6, for example. The 7U4 is an okay round for the SR2. However, I usually wait to use the SR2 until I have level 4, as the 30 round magazines are very expensive on the flea market. As I mentioned earlier, here is the SV98 thread adapter and the suppressor. These are great for making that sniper rifle from Jaeger usable. From there, there's not too many other attachments that I really value. I will say the SVT is a great weapon that you can use. You can put a PU scope on this thing and it shoots that 754R round, the PS round. So you can drop some heavy chads with a pretty cheap weapon. So that's something to keep in mind. The other weapon you're probably going to buy is the SVD. This is about the same price as you find them on the flea market, but you obviously get it at 100% durability. Now, last but not least, one of the best unlocks is the current front and current back plate. These are level 5 plates, and you can put these into an armor you can buy off the flea market. This floral for, grab that for 30, 35,000. And then the egg is about 45,000 from the flea market. And then the last plate is 30,000. So that's looking at about 110,000 for level 5 armor. It's really nice to have that, and don't miss out on that level 5 armor in the mid game. From there, we'll go to Skier. You unlock him at level 28. Skier actually doesn't have too much that I'm very interested in, if I'm completely honest. This PWS CQB muzzle brake is pretty good. It reduces your recoil by quite a bit, but you're going to have to be loud to run that. The silencers are a little bit interesting. This 7.62 is nice, especially when you're starting the Punisher quest line. But outside that, usually these are about the same price, if not more expensive than the flea market. The Tri-Hawk is a nice little 3x scope. I use this occasionally. It's not too expensive, and it has a nice reticle. This is just a reflex sight. It's pretty solid, but it has a little bit of a thick case, so it kind of covers part of your screen. So it's not my favorite EOTech, but you can use it pretty reliably. Outside of that, yeah, Skier just doesn't have anything that I really find myself using all too often. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to Mechanic. Mechanic 3 has some pretty nice stuff. First thing to note is the JSP round. This is going to unlock the ability to use the MP7 fairly effectively. You also get the 30 round magazine, so you don't have to pay out the ass on the flea market for those things. So that kind of makes the MP7 viable finally. Another great magazine is the 41 round and 50 round for the MPX. Like I said, you got that AP 6.3, put them in the high capacity magazines, and you're going to be dropping people like crazy. That weapon is amazing this wipe. One of my favorite muzzle brake is this RRD4C. This goes on AK-74 type weapons, and it has really good recoil reduction. So if you're going to run loud, go ahead and throw that on your weapon. Other than that, I'd kind of just skip over the stocks and the barrels on Mechanic, as I just don't really use them too often. But one of my favorite barters in the game is this LVOA M4. It is 4 GP coins, which is going to be 100,000 to 130,000 maximum. And this thing is really good. It's got lots of like meta parts already installed on it as the upper, and then the handguard is also very good. So you just kind of have to put a few things on this gun and then you are ready to go. The other weapons I don't really ever use, so that's not something I would really worry about too much. Now, last but not least, Ragman level 3. He's got some great stuff. You get the level 4 high comm striker helmets. Obviously, these are not as good as a U-lock because they lack ear protection, but they have that level 4 armor. And so that's going to be blocking a lot of rounds in the game, so that's really good. If you want to bump it up, you could probably go to one of the better helmets in the game. And even though it lacks that ear protection, it has the ability to put a level 6 flap plate on it. So this is ceramic, so it's only going to take like 1 or 2 shots, and it is quite expensive. But level 6 is going to block almost every round in the game. Obviously, there are some rounds that can go through level 6, but they are quite rare. Other than that, you've got a couple of good rigs. BlackRock is one of the better rigs in the game. Also, the Alpha is a great rig because it has 3x1 slots. So you can put in some extended mags in that Alpha rig. So that's really great. Outside that, you get the bow spray armor. This is a great armored rig because it has the level 4 front and back, and then you can put in those level 5 side plates, and it covers a lot of areas such as your stomach, your neck, your throat, your arms. So it's really good armor. The only thing is it's a little bit heavy, but that's not too bad. This thing sells out quite a bit, so you got to get it when it's available. Now, I've seen a bunch of people discount the rigs like the Banshee because they do not really have so much aramid armor. And yes, it is true. The level 3 protection will save you from scavs, but don't let that discourage you from using these items if you need to reduce your weight. Currently, I've been doing Shooterborn in Heaven, and I've been using a lot of these armored rigs because it allows me to build out my kit with a secondary weapon without being overweight when I go into raid. And that's very important because I want to level my endurance every single raid that I do. So like here you see, I'm not taking a backpack in. I'm not taking in my docs case for my keys because I am solely going in for headshots. That's my objective when I go into raid. And I want to level my endurance, and I also want to be maneuverable. So I'm using these lighter rigs. So something to note that they're not entirely useless, even though a lot of content creators have been saying that recently. One of the nice things about level 3 Ragman is the addition of larger backpacks. This wipe, BSG really removed the ability to get large backpacks early on. So now you finally get the beta backpack, which is one of the best backpacks in the game, in my opinion. And then also the tri-zip. And these are both excellent backpacks. I have no issue using both of these for the entirety of the wipe. And that pretty much brings me to the end of today's video. I just sort of highlighted all of my favorite items at level 3 traders, and I would be curious about what you like at level 3 traders. So if I missed one of your favorite items, please make sure to comment below and I'll take a look at them and see if I can use them in some of my future build guides. So I hope you found this useful, and please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.